Welcome to News Briefs. It's Friday, June 13, 2025, and wow, there's certainly a lot going on today.
That really feels like an understatement, doesn't it? The news is just pouring in.
Okay, let's dive right in then. The Middle East first.
Yeah,
Things sound incredibly tense this morning.
they absolutely are. We're getting confirmation now of pretty significant Israeli attacks inside Iran earlier today. This wasn't just a minor strike.
Significant how? What kind of scale are we talking about?
Well, reports are detailing large-scale operations targeting key nuclear and military sites. Natanz has been mentioned specifically.
Yeah.
And the scale. Look, some sources are saying around 200 aircraft were involved, and it seems the operation might still be ongoing.
200. Wow, that's major.
Yeah.
And tragically, I heard reports of casualties, high-profile ones.
Yes, unfortunately, those reports are being confirmed. General Salami of the Revolutionary Guard, Iran's Chief of Staff Bagheri, and several key nuclear scientists are reported killed. It just adds, well, it adds immense gravity.
Absolutely. What's been Iran's response so far? Have they reacted?
They have. Iran launched drones towards Israel, maybe about 100, based on initial counts. And crucially, they've publicly called this a declaration of war. So the tension is, yeah, it's maximum.
A declaration of war. Okay. The global reaction must be intense.
Exactly what you'd anticipate. Widespread calls for calm, for de-escalation. The UN, Russia, China, the EU, they've all put out urgent statements urging restraint.
And the U.S. position in all this,
And-
it seems complicated, maybe.
It does, yeah. On one side, you have Secretary of State Marco Rubio stating very clearly the U.S. did not participate. He called it unilateral Israeli action. That's the official line.
Didn't former President Trump say something different?
Exactly. Quite the contrast. Former President Trump admitted he knew about the operation beforehand, and his message to Iran was much more direct. Basically, negotiate now before, quote, there's nothing left. He even explicitly stated the hardline leaders were dead.
Wow. That's quite a divergence in messaging. Really shows the delicate spot everyone's in.
It really does.
Okay, let's shift focus maybe away from international conflict for a moment. Back here to the U.S. Immigration is still very much in the news.
Oh, absolutely. It remains a central story. The federal raids targeting undocumented immigrants, they haven't just continued. Reports suggest they've actually intensified, broader scale, more frequent.
And is that official policy? Is the government confirming this will go on?
Yes. DHS Secretary Krista Noem was pretty unambiguous. She stated very clearly the raids will proceed. And, well, as you'd expect, this is leading to significant protests. We're seeing large ones in L.A. and Chicago.
Right, I saw about L.A.
Yeah.
There's extra tension there because of military presence.
That's right. The deployment of National Guard and Marines in Los Angeles, which was ordered by former President Trump, is definitely adding to the tension. It was challenged in court, but an appeals court just allowed it to continue, temporarily at least. And Trump actually tweeted about it, claiming it prevented the city from burning, as he put it.
And wasn't there that incident with Senator Padilla? That seemed quite dramatic.
It really was something. Democratic Senator Alex Padilla, he was trying to ask questions at Secretary OM's press conference in L.A. about the raids. Reports say he was forcibly removed, even handcuffed.
Handcuffed. A sitting senator.
Yeah. His quote afterwards really struck a chord. If this is how they treat a senator, imagine how they treat immigrants.
That certainly puts a fine point on it. It was interesting, though, I thought, that former President Trump actually mentioned the economic side of this.
He did, yeah, which was notable. He acknowledged the raids are having an impact on the labor force, particularly hitting agriculture and hospitality hard, sectors that, rely heavily on immigrant workers. He promised action soon to address it, but no specifics yet.
Right. Well, amidst all that, was there a slightly more hopeful story? Something out of Wisconsin?
Yes, a small piece of good news in this area. A Hispanic immigrant there had been accused, falsely it turns out, of making threats against former President Trump. He was cleared completely. The key was the threats were in English, a language he doesn't speak. So it was clear evidence it couldn't have been him. A good outcome where the system worked, at least in that instance.
Glad to hear that specific case resolved that way. Okay, let's broaden out again. The U.S. economy. What's the overall picture looking like today?
Still a bit of a mixed bag, really. Inflation isn't going away. The latest CPI, Consumer Price Index, was 2.4% annually. PPI, the Producer Price Index, 2.6%. So prices are definitely still climbing.
And what about jobs? How's the labor market holding up?
That's where things look a bit weaker. The labor market seems to be softening. Continuous unemployment claims, for instance, just hit their highest point since August 2023.
So more people staying unemployed for longer.
Seems that way, yeah. It suggests finding new work might be getting tougher for some.
So sticky inflation, weaker jobs,
Hmm.
tricky situation.
It is. Though it's not all negative, we did see a small improvement in small business optimism, which is, a positive indicator, and housing. It's still very regional, prices down in some spots, up in others. No single story there.
Got it. Okay, quick hits on a couple of other areas. Military tech, anything new?
Yeah, the U.S. Army announced something called Detachment 2011.
Detachment 2011, what's that about?
Basically, they're bringing in experts from big tech companies, Palantir, Meta, OpenAI are mentioned to work directly with the Army. The idea is to speed up how they adopt and use, cutting-edge tech, make forces faster, smarter.
Makes sense. Okay. And science and medicine, any interesting developments?
A few things caught my eye. There's research looking into a potential link between chemical exposure during pregnancy and higher blood pressure in kids when they become teenagers.
That could be significant.
Yeah. Also, some peptides are showing promise against breast cancer spreading, metastasis. And there's a fascinating idea being explored that jaundice, yellowing of the skin, might actually protect against severe malaria.
Really? Jaundice.
Yeah, it's a hypothesis they're testing. And on the treatment side, good long-term results are coming in for a gene therapy for hemophilia B.
That's great news on the gene therapy front.
Right.
Any systemic issues or concerns being flagged?
Well, there's ongoing debate about possibly overdiagnosing ADHD and also concerns about an increase in medical insurance denials. Patients seem to be facing more hurdles getting care approved.
Right, okay. Understood. Let's shift gears completely now, maybe lighten things up a bit. Sports.
Sounds good. Formula One. Practice started today for the Canadian Grand Prix up in Montreal.
Okay, who's leading the championship now?
Right now, it's Oscar Piastri for McLaren, then his teammate Lando Norris is second, and Max Verstappen is sitting third.
Got it. Any boxing on tonight?
Yep, main fight is Andrew Tabiti versus Brandon Dixon.
And UFC?
UFC Fight Night is in Atlanta tonight. Main event, Kamaru Usman takes on Joaquin Buckley, that's welterweight, and the co-main is Rose Namajunas against Miranda Maverick in women's flyweight.
Okay. And I heard something big is starting tomorrow in football, soccer.
That's right. The brand new expanded FIFA Club World Cup kicks off tomorrow right here in the U.S. It's the 32-team format now.
32 teams. Who's playing the first game?
The inaugural match is Al Ahly from Egypt against Inter Miami.
Inter Miami. So Messi, Suarez.
Exactly. Messi, Suarez, and coached by Mascherano. That game's tomorrow in Miami. Should be interesting.
Definitely one to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And quickly, NBA playoffs. Any updates?
Yep, Eastern Conference Finals. Last night, the Indiana Pacers beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 3. Score was 116-107.
Okay, so what does that mean for the series?
That win puts the Pacers up 2-1 in the series, and Game 4 is tonight, back in Indiana again. Big chance for them to take a commanding lead at home.
Huge game tonight, then. All right, finally, let's circle back to more serious news. But this one out of India has just an incredible detail attached to it.
Yes, the Air India plane crash yesterday. Just a horrific tragedy. 241 people lost their lives. They have recovered the black box, and U.S. investigators are heading over to help with the investigation.
This is a terrible loss. And the detail.
The detail is, amidst all that devastation, there was one survivor.
One out of everyone on board.
Just one. His name is Vishwash Kumar Ramesh. He's 40 years old. Apparently, he was sitting near an emergency exit, and well, he somehow managed to just walk out of the wreckage. People are calling it an absolute miracle.
Walked out. That's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Astounding.
Truly. And related to that, reports mention Hindu temples are holding special prayers for the victims and their families.
Understandably. Well, from major global conflict points and intense political situations through economic currents, tech updates, sports, and that, a single miraculous survival story. It really covers the spectrum, doesn't it?
It really does. It highlights the sheer mix of huge geopolitical events, tough domestic issues, individual struggles, and then these moments of just incredible chance or resilience. Hard to process it all sometimes.
Indeed. We hope this news brief has helped give you a bit of a clearer picture of some of the key things unfolding today. Maybe think about how these disparate stories, from war footing to one person walking away, connect, or perhaps just which one stands out most to you.